evening, folks, and welcome to Garbage Theater. I'm your host, Chase, with my co-hosts Blake and John. Let's get this shit show on the road. John, you're fired. This movie made me want to vomit up a CG skeleton that explodes when it hits the ground.
We can't fire John. He's such a fun guy.
Oh, jeez.
Hey.
Well, this week we had to watch Fungicide.
Yep.
And I could have swore we had some rule about no movies worse than Swamp Ape.
I would make the case that this isn't worse than Swamp Ape.
I'll give you that. Quality-wise, it's a lot worse.
Yeah.
Movie-wise, no.
Yeah.
I was unaware that we're allowed to submit home movies into into the mix.
Well, this we all have a feeling this is going to be a long one, folks. So we're just going to get right to it.
Well, would you guys describe this as the greatest human art of all time, or just our greatest film of all time? Because I'm torn, honestly.
No.
No. That's the simple answer to that. No.
This was, okay, the timing was, I don't know how long the movie was because there was so much extras at the end.
Oh my God.
So I really don't know how long the real movie was. However, this whole movie could have been done in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Things took extremely long.
So long.
This movie.
They had to show you everything 3 times in progressively slower motion.
The climactic fight at the end was an hour long.
Like, I can honestly tell you, before watching this movie, if somebody said, hey, at what point would you get tired watching human-sized mushrooms getting karate fights with people? And I'm like, man, I don't know if I could ever get tired of that. Well, the threshold is about at 1.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And this goes on for, like you said, basically an hour.
Oh, God. I don't... And
he keeps it fresh, though. There's always some new insanity popping up.
Oh, because the mushrooms are like the vampires from Lost Boys. They all die in unique ways. Some melt, some blow away into dust, some disappear in a flash of light.
I don't want to get ahead because I honestly want to tell the story the right way.
Yeah.
But boy, there were some surprises in this movie.
Holy shit.
Jesus.
I'll give it that.
Yes, sir.
And there were some genuine belly laughs that came from me.
I had some where I had to pause it because I was laughing too hard. Not for the right reasons, though.
Right.
So we open to the woods and some overlaid transitions of some goggled guy in the basement of some house. And he seems to be a scientist of the loosest terms.
Oh, God.
He's unpacking beakers from a metal soup kitchen cafeteria vessel, what you should store all your beakers in.
Right.
Those weren't even real beakers, friends.
It was like a measuring cup.
One thing really quick is, if you'll recall, IMDb estimated the budget at $140.
Yes.
And I think that's completely possible.
I'm going to quote us from the Nutcracker in 3D. This movie looked every penny of its budget.
Yes. Without a doubt. Including... Never mind, I'll wait till they... Never mind.
So... as he's unpacking his beakers, he gets a little vial out, and we need to emphasize the importance of this vial. So we're going to do this triple screen break striping effect that I didn't even know you could do.
On top of just showing it for an extremely long amount of time.
Yeah, and I said, wow, this vial of water must be really important.
Did it bother anybody else that this movie haphazardly switched from 4:3 to 16:9 whenever it wanted to?
Sometimes it turns into a vertical phone video.
Yeah. Yes. He'll just change the format whenever he feels like it. Just like he'll mat out some
Sometimes
other kind
it
of
has-
crazy format.
Sometimes the whole film has a white frame around it.
Yeah, most of the time.
So it was. The
In case
thing
you want
was,
to hang it on your wall.
Yeah.
what you see is a 4x3, okay? But within that 4x3, it goes to a 16x9,
Yeah.
like in the 4x3.
And then
When
it
you
goes to
need
9x16.
something for impact.
Yeah, exactly. It was all over the place. God bless him.
Yeah. So he takes a special vial of water and he maniacally pours it into some 7-Up and says, "Do your deeds."
Do your deeds. What is this? I was like, oh man, the world is not ready for this guy's Alka-Seltzer.
He then pours.
It was right then when my wife left the room. That's how far she made.
Do your deeds.
Do your deeds. Oh
So-
man.
He then pours that mixture into some red Kool-Aid and stirs it for a half a goddamn hour.
For way too long. And not carefully at all.
Oh, it's overflowing all over the place, spilling all over the table, spilling on his hands. That he claims, it's working now. And then he stirs it for another half an hour. Cut to sometime later, I guess. And there's a woman, and she's circling sections of a newspaper, complete with Foley noises of a pen scratching on a surface.
Did y'all notice at one point the newspaper was upside down?
Come on.
I swear.
Oh man. Endless treasures in this film.
Yeah, so it's a old woman and her husband, and these are the parents of the...
They're actually the director's parents.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Everyone in this movie was related, just like John said.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Well, they're all Scientologists.
They're all the... yeah, the Miscaviges.
Yeah.
So,
This is really the story of Xenu. We just didn't know.
Xeno's actually a crappy CG mushroom.
Yeah.
It's
probably better than the real story.
The woman claims to have found the place for him to get a good week's rest. They're talking about the scientist in the basement who's been mixing chemicals for days on end. We go back down to the basement for some more mixing action. Why the hell not?
I was like, he's not wearing any gloves, which bothered me.
His lab coat was an oversized white dress shirt.
Yes,
No,
okay.
that's not what it was.
I thought it was made out of paper.
No, look, as a safety professional,
Yeah.
I had so much wrong with this. Like, not wearing the gloves yet. Like, he had the glasses on, which is cool, but what about everything else? But the lab coat, which they make mention of him wearing a lab coat, that is not a lab coat, nor is that a dress shirt. That is like one of those Mandarin frog-buttoned kung fu shirts that he's wearing.
But the way it wrinkled made it look like it was paper, like it was a paper safety suit that you get at Home Depot.
Because old grandma Scientology there said, "I'll be in your little movie, but I'm not ironing that goddamn shirt." And here we are.
So after the mixing, the woman says to consider the benefits of mankind that his formulas could bring. And then there's an explosion, glass shattering. Oh, Silas! And then the old man walks around the table, and it takes about 5 cuts to show him going around the table, goes to the basement, and everything's fine.
There's no indication that anything blew up at all. He's just still down there mixing.
No evidence of an explosion. Nothing at all. He stores the vial in a giant sectioned steel case that I'm sure is meant for the ancient camcorder they're using.
I was like,
The
couldn't
cutouts don't even match.
No,
It's just loose, just rolling around in this big giant rectangle.
It's the only thing just loose in this giant briefcase.
But, like, there's cutouts inside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For, like you said, probably camera equipment.
Yeah.
But he just kind of set the thing in there, and like you said, just rolling around in there.
That's it. Gramps looks down into the basement and asks if Silas is all right. He says he's fine, and he says, "Oh, your mother has a surprise for you." And then it cuts to her, and she's staring off into the distance, talking to no one. And she says, "He'll have a wonderful time." Like they're sending him to his death or something.
Well, where he's going is like the shittiest resort, I guess, quote unquote.
It's just an old house in the woods. It's not even like a resort or a bed and breakfast place. It's just a regular ass house.
Well, I think it's supposed to be a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, but a bed and breakfast usually has like multiple bedrooms and stuff. This is like a shanty.
Maybe a reception desk. This is just, go put your bags by the stove there, Chief, and find a room.
So from there, we cut to a
spot on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We cut to a CG flyover shot of the Arathi Highlands from World of Warcraft.
Oh, no.
What? Why? Seriously.
It was so bad.
Why did this need to be in? Could they not find a hill to shoot a picture of?
This was seriously like NES level. Well, no. Probably a little better than NES.
64.
Yeah, we'll give it 64.
64. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that was CG that 100% didn't need to be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and we're going to hit them all, trust me.
Yeah.
So, this is where the white frame appears around the house, around the frame of the movie. Like, oh, don't you love this so much? Let's draw more attention to how shitty this looks.
Right.
So, there's some very slow motion shots of old houses and planters and decorative plates and dusty teddy bears and golden urns.
It was to show the passage of time.
Yeah. Scarabs, time scarabs.
Yeah, time scarabs.
Do we need to mention that there's a strong lineup here between this and Field Freak? Should we mention that now?
Let's say that now, that this somebody stole from somebody.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think this was made first, though.
Yeah.
I think
was
it was
2002.
Yeah. Well, you'll see the connections as we get to them. But we settle on a woman dusting these old candles, as you do. She then moves on to dusting a plastic dollar store play sword mounted on the wall like it's goddamn Excalibur or something.
All I can think is that goddamn dude with the battle axe and the 4,700 pocket knives. Like, that came in a deal.
And
I got so hyped when I saw this sword hanging above the fireplace.
You better not Chekhov's gun this fucking sword movie.
Well,
and the sad thing is, it does come into play, but I didn't realize that it did until like
it was too late.
It was too late to enjoy the sword.
I honestly don't think that the sword was ever in play. Because you only notice it when the dude drops it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It never really got like its hero moment that it deserved.
I don't think it was actually ever in play.
Yeah. I mean, at some point she should have handed it down and said, like, it's dangerous to go alone.
So then we have to watch this woman dust the rest of Napoleon Dynamite's house.
It's all wood paneling and
including us, the audience.
Yes, we got dusted too.
We get dusted too. She then gets psychic visions of Silas and various shots of the movie that's yet to happen. And then the phone rings, and it's the Silas's mother asking if this is the mountain hideaway, and she asks if they have any rooms available, and her son wants to stay for the week. Shouldn't this have already happened?
Yeah, she's making promises that she hadn't even done anything about yet. Like, Oh, yeah, I got this huge surprise for you. Oh, never mind. They were booked up.
They're booked.
Go back to your Kool-Aid stirring downstairs.
I get the feeling that, like, he has no interest in going at all. You know, this is all his parents' idea to get him the hell out of the basement for a while.
Well, yeah. He's stinking up the joint with mushrooms and Kool-Aid packets down there.
Starting his own sperm bank down there.
Who knows what the hell he's doing down there? I know what he isn't doing. Wearing a lab coat.
So the mom says, my son is a brilliant scientist, you know. And the lady says, oh, that's interesting. And then the woman says, my son is more of an agricultural scientist, you know. Well, which is it, lady? Brilliant or agricultural? You can't have both.
Yeah, she also didn't ask.
She
wasn't like, please elaborate.
Just... you call it a booker hotel room and give somebody your life story. Like, I've never seen that before. But from now on, next time I book a hotel room, I'm a scientist, an agricultural scientist.
So then the mother says, well, he can't be there for a couple of hours. Is that okay? No, damn it. He's got to be here now.
Yeah, if he's not in this room right now, you could forget it.
So the caretaker says it's fine, and that the other guest will be arriving anytime now. Boom! Rotating starburst transition!
Yes. The only one in the movie, too.
Yeah.
And then we get to meet this slick bastard.
God damn it.
Driving down the road in his convertible, bald head, tiny earring, tiny glasses, jean shorts. Look out, ladies, because the studs arrived.
You could have included tiny jean shorts as well. Now, this guy, okay. This dude here is somebody who at one point probably worked out. And those days are past.
That's a perfect description.
So he knows he's on camera, so he's trying to stay as stiff as possible. Yeah. Make sure everything's right where it needs to be. The only reason I know this so well is because, I used to work out one time. Anytime that camera gets on me, you gotta stiffen up those backs and make sure you're okay.
Oh, God. So his cell phone rings. And he answers it, and it's his doctor, making sure that he takes his pills and not to get angry. So I'm thinking, is this guy the Hulk or something? Like, is something like that's going to happen? And yeah, something's going to happen, folks.
Oh, God.
Dude, when this happened, oh my God, when all this pays off, that's when this guy became like my favorite character in film history.
Yeah, look, there's a huge M. Night Shyamalan twist to this guy.
Yeah.
And when it happened, I audibly was like, what the fuck?
This whole thing was worth it just for this dude.
Oh, God. Okay, so he's to take his pills and not get angry. So he thought, it would be a good idea to get some rest and relaxation out in a quiet spot. So he arrives at the mountain hideaway and heads in, and the woman caretaker, whose name we find out way later is actually Jade, greets him and, welcome to the mountain hideaway, the last place you'll ever stay. Oh, silly me, I meant to say the best place you'll ever stay. Okay, this slip of the tongue is meaningless. Because she has no ill intentions towards any of these people.
No.
It's just...
Well, again. They do... So what they do this here, they give her several sort of like... She misspeaks in awkward ways several times. But only in this little section of the film. And then that character trait is gone entirely.
She invites him in. He says that being out on the road with the boys is nice, but having a nice place to relax and do nothing is great too. And she says that she thinks of this place as a place where people can get together and give it to each other, and then corrects herself with again. That she meant to say in harmony with each other.
Yeah, just when I got excited that people are going to be giving it to each other.
And then I wrote, is this going to be her thing? Because it's already old. And thankfully, the movie agreed with me and it stopped.
Yeah, it did stop.
So...
somebody from Sea Org called them up and said, hey, y'all need to calm that shit down. And then they scrubbed a fucking bathroom for 3 weeks and went back to filming.
Oh, we're all gonna have.
We're gonna get so sued by Scientology.
We're all gonna have websites about us in a couple of weeks.
Bring it on.
My goal is to get sued by Scientology.
So it turns out our boy here is a pro wrestler that was doing really well but needed a break. So she really likes the idea of sweaty, grunting, tight-wearing men. And he says, well, it makes me as famous as a movie star, babe. What kind of a movie would star half-naked, sweaty, grunting men rolling around with each other? Why does this conversation exist? Why does this scene exist? What's the significance? I don't know.
Well, you have to know that he's a professional wrestler. That is very important.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Every time that dude was on camera, I just couldn't help but notice him trying to half-ass flex. Like, it like took me out of it every single time.
So he says, while the camera snap zooms in on his head, that wrestling is pretty serious, and you can like seriously hurt somebody's pancreas if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
The camera unnecessarily pans to her. It zooms in on him and then makes this awkward pan to her. Just stay in the wide shot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do the 50-50.
This is the big problem with the movie over and over again. That he took the wide, and then when he was in editing, he was like, he felt like it needed to be more dynamic, I guess. No, so he's like digitally zooming in on different parts of the frame.
While he was filming, he accidentally zoomed in, couldn't figure out how to zoom out, and just had to pan.
No. L. Ron Hubbard contacted him from beyond the grave and said, this needs to be more dynamic. So that's all he could do.
Oh, God. So she says pish posh to all this wrestling junk, and then she's suddenly stricken with more psychic visions before brushing them off and taking him on a tour of the house.
Did it piss anybody else off that she said pish posh?
Pish posh.
That's something that little term there, it infuriates me.
So, while they're walking down the hallway and she's showing him various rooms, the wrestler stops and clutches his chest and then rifles through his bag for his pills. And he explains that, these aren't drugs. They're prescription. They were given to me for my condition. Spontaneous combustion.
Oh, man.
What a fucking idiot.
What a ride this movie is.
Then he proceeds to not take them and put them back in his bag.
Oh, my God.
And yes, folks, just like I'm sure the three of us all thought at this moment, this asshole better explode at some point.
Yeah.
I just took it in stride, and I thought it was just another lame joke. You know, 'cause the movie's just making jokes. That's just a joke that didn't land. You know, this is where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
You're giving the movie the benefit of the doubt for not being a complete pile of shit.
Yes. Well, it also like really informs my reaction to when shit goes down, because they got me.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so
you know what? Fuck it. Spoil. I don't care. Like, motherfucker blows up at the end of the movie.
Oh my God. No,
No, he explodes himself like he's a goddamn X-Man.
Yeah.
All right, wait, let me get to my notes on this part. Because this is honestly this is the best thing in the movie, that. And we're like we're not giving it the justice it deserves.
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna wait an hour to say that the motherfucker blew up.
Well, I mean, when we get to it, we'll give it the justice. Okay, I don't think anybody would have guessed that he was going to not explode at this point.
Well, again,
except for John,
except for me, because I was like, Dude, why would you guys assume that he was going to explode? I mean, because that's the craziest shit in the whole world.
He said that he was prescribed pills for spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, but that's so ridiculous.
Because I looked up the name of his character before I watched the movie.
Do you know what movie we're watching, John?
Well, I didn't. At this point, I was only 7 minutes in.
Y'all saw what his name was, right?
No.
Oh, yeah, Titus Ignitus.
This is part of my journey.
Yeah, so as soon as he said it, I was like, oh, Ignitus. Yeah, okay.
Did he say his name was Titus Ignitus?
No, I was looking at the stuff about the movie beforehand.
Okay. Because when he's driving in his little Sebring, they do a close up on his T-shirt, but the quality is so terrible that you couldn't tell what you were supposed to be seeing. So only until we get to I didn't know his name until we got to the after credits stuff when it's showing the graphic that says Titus Ignitus, and then my brain exploded.
Yeah, my brain exploded when I saw the credit, because it's Tony, quote unquote, Titus Ignitus. And that's what I said, okay, his wrestling persona is about explosions. He is diagnosed with spontaneous combustion, and he blows himself up in the end of the movie. So he's done this before. You have to draw these lines here. If that's his thing, that means he explodes. That's what he does.
Okay.
He's exploding.
No, that's not even the weirdest thing that happens in the movie.
My head. Okay, so after that, she puts him in his room and he starts to unpack. And he takes out his prized possessions, which are 3 framed pictures of himself looking quite constipated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's an ominous red filter as the camera zooms in on his stupid face.
There's no reason.
Yeah, I was like, why though?
Because it's showing how angry the Swamp Ape is.
Oh.
Cut to some new asshole driving down the road, criticizing all the homes in the woods. Oh, throw a gallon of gas in a match. The less said than better. Get out of the 70s. These are some sick burns, man.
Yeah, the people in these houses.
This is also our director.
Yeah, this is the director. The director plays this guy and every single ancillary character in the movie.
By wearing
various
comedy
dollar
store
stores
props on his face.
Oh, God. Yeah, okay. So, he seems to be plotting out future real estate, but needs that quote-unquote broccoli-eating bitch to sign on the dotted line before he can get the land. So, back at the mountain hideaway, with impeccable timing,
I did laugh.
Jade pulls something out the microwave and says, "Would you like some more broccoli and cheese, Mr. Tight Ass?"
And there was nothing in the bowl.
They couldn't afford broccoli and cheese.
No.
We already spent $135.
Yeah.
We only have $5 left. No broccoli.
Yeah. So he corrects her and says that his name's Titus, but you can call me Tony. He says that his incense, the incense she's burning, has taken away his appetite, and you can say that he's incensed. That's all, folks. We're done here. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. And so, do all wrestlers have? And then she says, "Do all wrestlers have such a bad sense of humor? Only about as bad as broccoli eating bitches."
Jeez, these two aren't getting along very well right now.
Well, they're in for a long week.
Oh man!
So, Real Estate Rick arrives. His name is actually Jackson Jackson.
Jackson P. Jackson.
Jackson P. Jackson.
Yeah. He arrives at the mountain view, whatever the fuck this place is called, hideaway, and quote unquote crashes his car. So Titus and Jade run outside when they hear the sound effect of the car crash that you've heard in every single cartoon where there's a car crash.
Right.
Outside, his car is quote-unquote smoking. There's just this bad plume of CG smoke in front of his car. Why did he have to crash the car?
No, there's no mention ever of this happening.
It's as if it was supposed to be a joke. I don't know.
I guess. It definitely didn't land.
And I just want to point out that he later goes on to point out that he's this multi-million-dollar real estate agent. And look at the car he's driving.
Yeah.
Could you not go to a car rental and rent a nicer car for the day, just for the shot? Anything. How much is it to rent a car for a day?
Like $30. Chase, that's a fifth of the budget.
Yeah, but you know what? Don't even rent it. Go sit in a car, like at a lot, and do the close-up shot inside the car, and then never show the car again.
Yeah, skip this crashing it bit.
Yeah.
this terrible vaudevillian thing that they're doing where there's all these stupid jokes for no reason whatsoever.
I like it. He gets out of the car and he puts his hands in his pockets and starts whistling and walking away like it wasn't him.
Like he didn't just crash the car. So he gets out and he walks up to the house. He introduces himself as Jackson P. Jackson, and he says the P stands for pissed off because he can't find a room to rent. That's a long middle name.
It's crazy specific, too.
So he asks if she has a room, and she says she does. And it was weird because it seemed like he should know who she is because he's calling her this broccoli-eating bitch. And it turns out he does, but he's playing dumb for no reason whatsoever.
Right.
So she goes on to describe the room that she says she has by the muskiness of it.
Yeah, that'll bring him in.
And he interrupts her to just, get on with it, and I'll take the room. And this is where we finally find out that her name's Jade Moon. So she invites him in, tells him that this is a place of relaxation, and to imagine his stress as smoke flowing from incense. Titus, it's hot! Thanks for contributing to the movie, Titus.
I like how this mountain getaway or whatever, it's just a bunch of people chilling on an old couch.
Yeah. 3 people on one couch.
And Titus shouldn't be hot. He's wearing a sleeveless shirt and those Get It Girl shorts that he's wearing. There's no way he could be hot.
Well,
he's a stub toe. He's a stub toe away from catching fire.
Yeah, he's got that fury burning in him. So Jackson comes in and he immediately starts grilling Titus about being a homeowner. And they have a totally pointless back and forth about Jackson being a multi-million-dollar real estate agent before the scene mercifully ends.
Yes.
Jade gets on the phone while the movie intercuts shots of Silas driving his car, or I should say, sitting in the driver's seat and not touching the steering wheel as the car rolls down the street.
Yeah, right? Fondling his briefcase.
Jade tells Roger that the guy on the phone is Roger, apparently, also the director. And she tells him that she's got carpenter ants and she needs him to come down and put some ecologically friendly poisons around the house. And that line of words does not make any sense.
No.
So then Silas arrives and gets out with his briefcase and approaches the house. And he unfortunately trips on the stair leading up to the front porch. And the briefcase goes flying, and it opens up, and the vial comes out because it wasn't secured to anything inside that goddamn briefcase,
right?
And spills out on the floorboards as we're treated to another vertical phone shot of the vial. Again, to emphasize the importance. Silas crawls over, picks up the vial, saddened by his loss. He goes around, looks under the porch to see the chemicals pouring down onto a couple of wild portobello mushrooms that just happen to be growing under the house. We get another narrow frame shot, horizontal again, as the movie flashes back to Silas making the formula. So is this the formula's life flashing before its eyes?
Yeah, it sure is.
Because it's showing how it was made, that he's putting it in the briefcase again.
It's fondly remembering the time that its father nestled it inside its briefcase.
This movie could have been 20 minutes long.
I have lens flare on the mushrooms.
A lot of questions right here about Silas's briefcase, though. Okay. So he spills the contents of his briefcase, which, I mean, he's going away for a week.
All he packed was his vial.
All he brought was the vial and a beaker. As if he's going to continue his experiments, but I don't know what you can do with a vial and a beaker.
Whatever's in the fridge, he's gonna pour that shit into that cheese broccoli.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then he chooses to show in slow motion the vial bouncing around on the deck, the cap never coming off, and then has the audacity to cut to a shot of it with the cap off.
The audacity.
Oh, God. So, Silas retrieves his briefcase as Jade, Titus, and Jackson open the door. Goodness my, bless the goddess of the sky. What on earth happened?
Good Lord.
Christ.
They react more strongly to him tripping than Homeboy crashing into the house.
Yeah. So, is it at all possible that the car crash was punch-up?
I hate to think that.
Yeah, that it was just meant for him to arrive, and they come out, and they said, something I think needs to happen here. Let's put a car crash sound effect, and just put smoke over the front of his car.
You know, we need some filler in this movie that contains 60 minutes of filler.
I think that's what happened. I think the car crash was punch-up.
I think you're right, unfortunately.
So, Silas says, I guess I dropped my scientific experiment. I mean hobby. Nice save, Silas.
Yeah, nobody suspects a thing.
At first I was concerned, but then he said it was a hobby, and then I was okay.
Yeah. I think that was a body, Chief. Oh, no, I thought of that too, until he said lawn clippings. You gotta learn to listen, Lou. So she invites him in. They say, we need to clean this spill up so it doesn't kill any of her plants. Cut to Beardy Magoo over here.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it.
He looks like Forrest Gump when he's running across America. This is Roger, the guy who's coming to spray the carpenter ants, also played by the director, so we got to make him look different, so we put this big, stupid beard on him.
He looked like the little toy you used to play with where you put the metal shavings up for the beard.
Oh, the Woolly Willy?
Yeah.
I was thinking he looked like Yukon Cornelius from the Rudolph.
So he gets out his car, gets his pesticide, and walks off. Meanwhile, inside, Silas, Titus, and Jackson are all sitting on the same couch, like you do. Titus is explaining what beer is to Silas.
What the fuck?
He's a scientist. He's a scientist.
A scientist.
Explain to him.
Okay, he's an agricultural scientist. He knows what hops are. He knows these are all plants.
Yeast. He probably knows what yeast is.
I would hope.
And the beer is just a can with a piece of paper wrapped around it that says beer. As many things in this movie.
But at first he acts like he's never even heard the word before. He's like, beer?
He has no idea what this is.
But then when he's given the beer, he says that his classmates used to drink it.
continuity between two lines right next to each other? Why do we need that? So Titus gives it to him. Silas is a bit wary because he doesn't know Titus all that well, but decides, what the hell, like John said, other students were drinking these while I got my doctorate. What could one hurt? And then he proceeds to take a very normal sip, and then Titus freaks out as if he's chugging a quart of vodka.
Right.
Whoa, slow down, guy. We got a lot more where that came from, and the night is still young. It is not night at all, Titus. The sun is blasting through the windows.
You know how many carbs are in that beer? Because I do.
So, back outside, this ridiculous son of a bitch with the beard is walking around the perimeter of the house, spraying the pesticides, when he hears a noise under the porch. He crawls underneath to investigate and is attacked. He screams in what is absolutely, without question, his voice. And he's dragged under the porch. So, back inside, Silas continues to drink his beer, complete with cartoon gulping noises, and it flashes back to his lab again, and various experiments, and notes flash up with details of the subject's death and attempting to control the subject too early, and experiments need more attention, failing to produce sufficient food and protein, and a bunch of other garbage. Why? Why do these flashbacks keep happening?
There's never any explanation for any of them.
Yeah, what test subjects? We never did find out.
So, Silas, content with his single beer, says he's relaxed to the max and he's headed home to continue his work. Jade stops him, and Jackson encourages him to stay the week. Forget about your experiments. He then flashes back to when he dropped the vial minutes ago. So
Man,
angry.
You guys remember when I dropped that vial?
Man, you guys remember when I drank that beer? So Jade suggests that they all go and take a walk. Jackson says, well, fresh air isn't as good as recirculated mall air, but it'll do. Thanks,
Another
Jackson.
thing is, these people are paying you to have rooms in this house, and you're kicking them out.
Yeah, let's go
I
take
think
a
y'all
walk.
spend enough time inside. Y'all are bothering me. Get the hell out.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, outside, something's dragging Roger's body through the woods with some dramatic jump cuts to his feet. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, God. That shotgun sound and just switching the view. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's always one more than you'd expect.
Just when you think it should stop, I think we should do 7 more.
Yeah.
Just when it gets to like, okay, that's enough. 3 more.
Oh my God.
So as they come outside, Jay notices Roger's truck's parked out there and wonders where he is. They walk down the street as Jade points in various directions, and she notices a caterpillar and makes a huge deal out of it. They continue to walk down the road in slow motion.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this part so much already. Like this, Reservoir Dogs shot of this group of weird men all staying together at some hippie chick's bed and breakfast, alone. Single men at a bed and breakfast.
God. Well, they're about to get their crazy Mr. Blonde character as this machete-wielding maniac comes chopping through the woods and damn near kills Titus in the street. This guy with the machete, he's in army fatigues and a t-shirt, and he asks, "Where's your troop, Private?" A sentence that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Jade, confused as she should be, tells him that, "I'm sorry, sir, but you're on my property." And he says, "I don't recognize you from the other squad." Jackson makes a quip about him coming out of Operation Forest Storm, and the soldier threatens to carve him a new chin. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
He explains that he's in the middle of a reality show called Last Man Standing, where they vote off weaker members off the Military File Council. Huh?
I don't understand any of this,
Yeah,
I've been talking about like what everybody looks like in this movie, but honestly, when I saw this guy, it was like, this is a volunteer fireman that beats his wife. If you can picture that, folks, you've pictured this character.
No. He's also being followed by some tool with a camcorder and a dopey wig, which might be the beard from the other guy just put on his head.
Just slapped it on top.
It might as well.
So Jade gets upset and says that, you can't come in here and film on my property without my permission. This is my earth. And the machete man tells her to shut her trap. Shut your trap, lady. And Titus warns him, don't pressure the little lady, or I'll do a half Nelson on your punk ass.
This dude is a seasoned Marine. and you're going to threaten him with a chunky armed full Nelson?
Well, don't worry. He quickly disarms Titus of his confidence by revealing that his name is Major Wang.
Yes.
Why not? Fuck it. Major Wang. Good night again, folks. We're all done here. That's all we've got.
See you next time.
It was like this movie, I think what happened was they kept trying to have some sort of segue to make this a porno, but the chick just wasn't picking up on it.
Well,
like
that's
three single guys at a bed and breakfast.
Wife.
Yeah, well, three single guys at a bed and breakfast. You just said it. Why would they be there?
Yeah.
But she didn't pick up on that, and they're like, okay, we really got to hammer this home. Send in Major Wang.
And this is like, if this had been made by children, like I would have thought this is great and hilarious and adorable. But the fact that it's adults named a character Major Wang, because they thought it was funny.
If you watch the 40 minutes of outtakes and deleted scenes after the movie, they were having a fucking blast doing this movie.
They were having a great time. Oh, God. Okay, so anyway, Jackson asks Major Wang what the grand prize of the contest is, and he says it's 500 G's, more money than I'll ever see. So does he not plan on winning? More money than I'll ever see, because I'm not going to win, obviously.
Right. Well, I think he means other than winning this contest, he'll never see that much money.
Well, I don't think he's going to win, considering he's wielding a plastic machete.
And the fact that he ultimately abandons the contest entirely.
So Wang claims that there's nothing he won't do to win. He isn't even above beating the shit out of a 62-year-old, or stealing panties, or rumor spreading. This whole scene, this jackass is whacking the machete blade side against his open palm. Again, like Blake said, plastic machete.
Yeah, this is that dollar store machete.
Then when you turn it upside down, it fills with blood.
Yeah, the blood comes out. No, it's not even that one. That one's $1.50. The other one is $1 flat.
While they're standing there, the cameraman is attacked and dragged into the woods, screaming at various octaves. Ah! Ah! Oh! Ah! So Wang runs off after him. None of our heroes are too keen on helping, as goofy screams are intercut between their lines of dialogue. But Jade says that they should help that man, as he is one of nature's creatures too. Just then, Wang comes back out of the woods, holding the bloody camcorder, and drops it on the ground in slow motion.
I had a pretty stupid moment where I wrote down, well, R.I.P. the camera they shot this with. But then I realized that they had to shoot the footage of them breaking the camera with something.
See, these movies are making us stupider.
Yeah, they are. We then cut to later. They're back at the house. Jade is quite ineffectually chopping wood.
Oh my God.
She's got a branch that might be an inch thick, and she's just kind of like tapping an axe at it. Tap, 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 tap.
She's swinging hard and then pulling away at the last second.
Yeah,
we've only got the one stick. Don't chop it in half.
Yeah, there's no way we can find another stick.
We only have 3 sticks, and we have to use all of them in the fight with the mushrooms later.
Yeah, don't break the sticks, lady. You think they grow on trees?
Maybe that whole scene was just another failed at let's make this a porno and just didn't work out and we'll just leave her chopping wood in here.
Yeah, the real estate guy was supposed to come out and be like, hey, you're really working that wood.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because Jackson comes out, but when he comes out, he opens the sliding glass door and he says, someone's going to break that glass one of these days. Now, about this.
Foreshadowing.
If we've all watched the trailer, we know that a giant mushroom crashes through this sliding glass door. Did this need the foreshadowing?
I'd say yes.
I think the foreshadowing that this movie provides in this scene and others is what sets it apart.
This isn't Jurassic Park. Hopefully they don't learn how to open doors.
Isn't it, though?
Kind of reveal. It's just a mushroom crashing through a CG window. But it needed the call out.
Another thing I noticed here, did you guys notice his wardrobe in this scene?
No.
He's got on a suit jacket and a button-up shirt, but just sweatpants on the bottom. Like he couldn't afford the full suit.
Oh man.
Well, his pants got ruined. He got brake fluid all over him from that crash.
Yeah.
So
we spent all our money on this frog button shirt for a lab coat.
So Jackson starts probing her to see if he can convince her to sell the land. He claims to know these woods better than her, and he's had a file on her for years. They've been pursuing this land all the way back since her grandparents owned it, and they will collect. And so she warns him that Mother Nature collects on all of us. And then there's a scream. However, the scream is so crystal clear, it's as if the actual cameraman screams out because he just can't take this shit anymore.
That might have been what happened.
Jade and Jackson run inside to investigate as the white border makes its appearance again. Jackson asks Wang if Wang was the one that just screamed, and Wang's sitting on the floor just kind of mute in shock. And when he says this, Silas replies with, everyone screams for ice cream. And I said, fuck you, John. Aloud. So Silas suggests that they watch the tape from the camcorder, and they say, oh, why not? So Jade wipes the blood off it with a sock and then stuffs it in the VCR. We get a shot of Wang talking to the camera about these 4 broads planning to vote him out. So let's talk about this camera HUD for a second, since we all like to point out the camera HUDs in all these movies.
I didn't even look at this one.
All it is 4 black bars in a square, a little red REC, and then last man standing. And that's it.
Huh.
Let's keep it simple.
There's some great stuff about this. So, obviously they had to use a special effect to put this on the TV. But, they couldn't... There's, a big, weird black triangle where they couldn't quite fit it into the screen. And then also, on this VHS tape, somehow there are edits where, Wang had, multiple camera setups to record his stupid confessional on this, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, it gets worse because he keeps talking. He reveals that, he stole all these women's panties so that they couldn't make it to the vote and they'd be instantly disqualified. And then it cuts to a crappy mushroom puppet biting at the camera, shots of the cameraman's feet, his bloody shirt and hands, And so while he was being murdered by this mushroom, was he cutting and then starting again? And like, I'm going to shoot my hand now. Okay, cut. Now let me shoot my feet. Cut. Okay, let me shoot the mushroom thing again. Cut.
Oh, no.
And he didn't record any of that roadside meeting with Wang.
No. Even though it looked like he was.
Yeah.
So, Silas gives the film a slow clap, as if he just finished watching Citizen Kane. Jackson brushes it off as, oh, it's a game show ploy, and they're probably got us all on camera right now. Jade claims that she's never even heard of this show, and she's definitely not heard of anyone filming in this location. Silas says that they're all going to crack out here, so Titus offers to put Silas in a sleeper hold. Just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes in a sleeper hold would kill a man.
Not if it's executed by Titus, apparently. Old gummy bear arms Titus ain't gonna be locking up anybody.
So, Jade says that they all need nourishment and wants to whip up something for them real quick. So she takes a bowl of mushrooms out of the fridge, which sends Wang into a frenzy. He tackles Jade to the ground and claims that they're the ones that killed Bruce. We have a name for the cameraman.
Yeah, good thing.
Titus pulls him off and threatens to use his new finishing maneuver on him, which I have to assume is exploding the house. So, Titus says that he's done with all this drama and he's getting out of here. Cut to the woods, where we get some mushroom vision and Titus wandering off into the woods. So he's just going to walk off into the woods, I guess. He spots there's some little mushrooms. They're all chirping like little rats, and he spots a larger than normal mushroom, which is clearly made out of fabric.
Yeah.
So he reaches down and touches it. It spins around, revealing a mouthful of teeth, and quote unquote bites him on the wrist. The movie goes widescreen for no reason whatsoever, and the mushroom bites Titus on the ankle. Now it switches to the vertical phone format again, and he manages to get free and runs off. We have just hit an hour into this podcast, and we've barely scratched the surface of this movie, folks. Just to let you know.
You said you had 13 pages of notes?
I have 13 pages of notes. We are 4 in.
Oh my god.
Is this going to be another two-parter?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, I'm about halfway through mine. I had like 3 pages.
So he gets free and runs off. Titus tells the others that Wang was right and the mushrooms tried to kill him. Silas gets really excited by this. Jade doesn't believe it. And as she claims, nature just isn't this cruel. Nature is ridiculously cruel, lady.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's like, what, 1 in 400 baby sea turtles don't get ripped to shreds moments after they've hatched?
You have to bring up the sea turtles, man. Jesus Christ.
I need an example. Lady doesn't know what she's talking about. So
could have brought up something other than the sea turtles.
So we're having a good time here, Chase. I mean, you're bringing us down.
Are we? I think that was rather cheery compared to what we've been talking about. Titus takes a mouthful of his explosion pills to calm down. The wound on his ankle is sprouting mushrooms all over it. Wang runs in with his machete and starts slicing the mushrooms off as they all scream like weasels. Jade, the relaxation Nazi, tells everyone to just chill out, and we fade to black. Explosion cut to the exterior of the house. Boom, 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 boom. Wang and Titus outside, and Wang is now teaching Titus how to fight with tree branches like they do in the military.
Oh my god.
Lots of stupid transitions here, while these two have big old grins on their faces as they clack their twigs together. I was expecting the music from the Top Gun volleyball scene to start kicking on.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Jade comes out and says that she's glad that they both seem to be feeling better. Wang apologizes to her about earlier, and he tells her that in the Marines, they have to be trained in hand-to-hand combat and sword fighting. Sword fighting?
Sword fighting.
Okay, I'm not going to claim to know anything about military training or anything like that. But sword fighting?
I don't think sword fighting is
First of all, that's not sword fighting.
No.
If that's sword fighting, then every 8-year-old on the planet is a sword master.
I really don't think that there's drill instructors out there saying, hey, maggot, go grab that stick. I'm going to teach you how to fight. Like,
I'm going to teach you how to rhythmically clack left, right, left, right, left, right.
Yeah.
I thought this was more foreshadowing, and I thought he was about to bust out that fucking master sword above the fireplace and do some work later.
That 11-inch long master sword.
Yeah, that's right. That children's toy.
It's got a little button on the handle. It goes pew 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 pew.
It makes the sharp sword sound. The shing shing.
It makes a machine gun noise for no reason because it's that shitty.
Yeah, they just mixed up the sound chips at the dollar store or whatever.
That's a little foreshadowing now because there's a lot of guns in this movie that have machine gun sounds that have no fucking place doing it.
Oh yeah, this is another movie that throws all the logical laws of physics when it comes to firearms out the goddamn window.
Yeah.
So Jade tells him to come inside for lemonade because there's a nasty storm brewing. Again, it's sunny as shit.
Yeah.
We get some mushroom vision, not as, which isn't as impressive as Robo War vision or even Swamp Ape vision.
Nope.
They go inside. Wang says being here is better than being in a foxhole. And Silas says, and here you'll have more than one buddy with you.
Jeez.
So Wang threatens to open him from gut to gullet, and Titus agrees and says that we should just bury him somewhere. Silas didn't suggest, somewhere dark and moist. Yeah, put me in your butts.
Man, Silas would love it in a butt.
So Titus tells Silas to just come on, just tell us what's up with you. And Silas says that he wanted to give a gift that no other creature on the planet has but us. Cut to a severed hand in the woods and a torso, maybe. And Silas saying over it, it's the gift of learning so they can grow faster and better than ever before. And that his research is more like fatherhood. Cut back to the woods, to the body in the woods, which is supposed to be the cameraman. It zooms in on his chest, and you hear this tearing sound, and a toothy mushroom sprouts from his chest.
And then it happens.
Holy shit.
The body is now a dummy that resembles a shittier version of Ernie from Bert and Ernie.
Right.
With the mushroom coming out of its chest, slowly eating him. Now...
It's just a paper mache head.
It's so bad.
It's astounding how long they hold on this crappy effect.
I mean,
show it in a flash if you have to.
They show it in the trailer.
Yeah.
But and then I was like, that must be the only shot of it, right? And that was kind of like an accident.
Yeah.
Or something.
They reuse this dummy until it falls apart.
Yeah. They're not embarrassed about it at all. I'm so...
Okay. There's no reason this couldn't have been a real person. No reason whatsoever.
No.
You don't have to Ridley Scott this, where you cut a hole in the thing that the guy's laying on to thread. You don't even have to do that. The way they shot this, just lay the guy down, cut a hole in his shirt, and thread your arm up through the bottom of his shirt. Done.
Yeah.
Well, again, another point where just furious rage was happening. And I forgot that this movie had funny parts. I'm too mad.
Dude, this was pretty hilarious, though. Can you imagine wasting all of that time even making this head?
Yeah.
When it was so unnecessary.
Okay. Again, I know we keep plugging the movie we made in college, but we also made a paper mache head that we bashed open in our movie. But we had the tact to show it in a silhouette shadow and not actually show the friggin' thing.
Right. And the only reason we did that instead of using a real person was because we wanted to smash it and have real impact. I wouldn't have bothered with the head if I didn't care about like how shit looked.
Yeah. Oh, God. Stupid triangle-nosed orange puppet.
Oh, it was so weird.
So the mushroom then approaches the house. They look out the window and see mushrooms sprouting up in various locations. Jade asks, how could this be happening? And Silas says, I know, but I won't tell. So Wang attacks him, and Silas wriggles to freedom and runs outside, calling out to the mushrooms to come to their master. CG baseball bat to the head.
Yeah, what was it? You couldn't get a wiffle bat somewhere? Or?
He's standing on the porch with his arms up, and he's screaming out to the mushrooms, come to your master. And from the darkness of the doorway, a CG baseball bat sprouts out and whacks him in the head. It might as well have been a boxing glove on a spring.
Well, okay. Like, I understand they don't have budget, but...
They had the budget to CG in a freaking...
Yeah, they had a stick already.
Yeah, that's baffling.
So, cut to a shot of the night sky that looks like it was taken right off of a gas station Wolf t-shirt.
Okay, and here's like the main example that I have of unnecessary CG. This motherfucker CG'd the moon, apparently forgetting that the moon is real and like comes out at night.
Yeah.
They shot this whole movie in an afternoon.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like, we don't have time before supper time.
This movie was an hour and a half long, and it took them 2 hours to make it.
Yeah.
So we see the night sky. Inside, Wang ties Silas up to a chair, while Silas...
Do we have to see the whole tie-in? But like they showed every like knot and thing that the dude made. It's like, why did they show everything?
I don't know.
They're really proud of it.
I don't know.
They're really, really proud of it.
Now I just want to get through this damn episode.
Well, from here, they go on to show Silas having visions of him spoon-feeding a mushroom at the dinner table like it's a goddamn infant.
This was like one of my favorite parts of the movie.
And then he's playing video games with the mushroom. And then playing cards and reading it bedtime stories.
Oh, man.
But all these things were shot inside the mountain getaway.
Yeah.
What? It should have been in his house.
So they couldn't even use another location.
Much like the blowjob scene in Deadly Sin, I thought I had a stroke and was seeing things.
Oh, but come on, though. This legitimately was like... This made me laugh. Like, they got me on this. It was something humorous that actually worked for me, anyway. I thought it was funny. Him, like, spoon-feeding this crappy mushroom puppet, playing video games with it.
So, anyway, he wakes up and starts laughing maniacally. Silas explains to Wang and Titus that the mushrooms can absorb the knowledge of their hosts. So, I guess they know how to film reality TV shows now.
Pretty much.
More mushroom vision outside. Jackson tells Wang, why don't you go look out the window? And Wang refuses. He says, that's how people get scared in horror movies. So then Jackson suggests, why don't you go out the front door? And Wang says, okay.
Sure.
He opens the door, and there's a mushroom just like chilling on the porch right there in front of the door. There's a lot of banging noises all around the house, and Titus goes to find his explosion pills. But instead, he just stuffs his fat head into the freezer. They keep teasing that he's getting hot, and I'm waiting for it to happen. Jade realizes that if they got Roger, then they also know the house like the back of his hand. Does intricate knowledge of the layout of this small house matter?
No.
It's not a 9,000 square foot facility. It's a damn house, single-story house.
Everybody's chilling on the couch in the front room.
Yeah. Just then, the payoff happens. A giant mushroom smashes through the quote-unquote glass of the sliding door, and we get several angles of it happening, where the shattered glass seems to be anchored to the mushroom when it moves around. And it then chases our hero down the hallway. Parallelogram transition. Blowout white transition.
I hate this movie. I hate it.
So, the giant mushroom sprouts a second mouth from its stalk and starts chasing around Titus. Wang squares up to it, and it sprouts 2 arms and gets ready for fisticuffs.
I loved this. I loved when the arms came out.
It then proceeds to beat the ever-loving hell out of Wang and throws him into the kitchen.
But using wrestling moves.
Yeah. The mushroom then picks up a conveniently placed metal folding chair and whacks Titus on the head with it, and it makes a satisfying cartoon plink noise when he does it. He stock screams out and hits the floor, and then this mushroom's got its ground and pound game on point, because it beats the hell out of Titus on the floor.
Yeah, it does.
It throws a flying elbow in on him. It slams his head on the floor multiple times.
When it's done, it gets interviewed by Mean Gene Okerlund.
It even puts him in an ankle lock at one point.
Threatens the Undertaker at SummerSlam.
Throws Mankind off the top of the cage and Hell in the Cell.
Oh my god.
Titus manages to escape, though, thanks to Benny Hill fast motion. The mushroom starts then spraying goop all over Wang. Titus grabs Wang's machete and flails it around a bit like he's a goddamn ninja, and slices the mushroom open as CG blood spills out. Jackson comes out of the bathroom, having missed the entire ordeal. Jade cleans the glop off of Wang as Titus drags the giant mushroom outside and tosses it in the yard. And as soon as it hits the yard, it replants itself and grows back. All terrible CGI, by the way.
Yeah, well, when he throws it out the door, it's just like the empty, shitty mushroom costume.
It's just a trash can lid with a bed sheet around it.
Yeah.
So,
it was magical.
More giant mushrooms started popping up all over the house, and one of them wanders off to a nearby graveyard, I guess.
Yeah.
And starts spraying its spores into the air. The spores plant themselves on the graves, and dozens more mushrooms start growing up from the ground.
I didn't understand why.
Did they need to grow out of graves? The last one didn't. All the ones up to now haven't.
I don't know.
Cut to yet another random asshole character played by our director. Some guy camping in the woods. And by camping, I mean laying under a blanket he strung up between 2 trees on a string, singing that age-old camping song, "I'm just here, drinking my beer."
Just a classic song.
He spots a mushroom, and he calls it over, saying it's a cute little thing. It attacks him, and it proceeds to bite his hand off, and it cuts and replays the hand popping off multiple times, right, with the same scream over it, with him going, "Bleh, bleh, bleh."
They had to show it 3 times because the effect was so great.
His death screams sound like someone tickling a cat. The mushroom then starts to eat his corpse, which has switched yet to that same paper mache dummy again, except it's got his dumb hat on now to show that it's different. Cut from him to another random guy, also played by the director. So he's a runner, running down the street saying, "Oh, I picked a bad day to start running in the dark," and a horde of mushrooms is chasing him down the street. Cut to some empty parking lot in the woods, and there's a hooker there. I'm surprised the hooker wasn't played by the director. And,
was she played by the other girl though?
Yes,
I'm assuming.
That was the director's wife again.
Okay.
Once again, failed attempt to make a porno again.
Yeah. Here's a part where I actually had to stop the movie and get up and walk out of the room.
This shit. This is next level right here.
The hooker's standing there under a streetlight, and a car pulls up. She walks over to it, leans in, and says, "Hey, looking for a good time?" And a mushroom is driving the car. That's it. Good night for real, folks. It's over. This is the last episode of Garbage Theater. We're retiring forever.
Come on, that's next level. That's phenomenal. Yeah, the mushroom drive up.
Where did they get the car?
I don't know.
What's happening? What decisions have I made in life that have led me down this path?
Isn't that what John's wife said last week? Life decisions?
Life decisions.
Oh, God.
She wasn't wrong.
The mushroom then strangles her GTA style.
Yeah, it doesn't even eat her. It doesn't even gain her knowledge.
Yeah. It strangles her, pulls her into the car, and CG blood starts shitting out of the window everywhere. Now the mushroom has all this keen knowledge on being a bottom bitch.
Oh no, now the mushroom's got depression from like years of abuse.
Cut to...
It's got all this hooker terminology and pricing in its head. That's $50 for around the world to stop in Anchorage.
Oh
then
God.
From that we cut to a lawn gnome getting chewed on a mushroom. Like this is supposed to be comical or cute after a car driving hooker strangling mushroom just happened.
Dude, I'm actually rewatching the hooker scene again right now. She walks up to the car and like gets in the window and is like, "Hey, handsome, looking for a good time?" And then it cuts to the mushroom sitting there.
Oh God. Okay. We gotta keep moving.
Okay.
Back at the house, Silas explains that the reason the mushroom was such a good fighter is because when it bit Titus, it absorbed his knowledge of wrestling. Titus goes to the bathroom to take a piss, and a mushroom sprouts out of the toilet. And he beats it senseless with a toilet brush.
I was like, look how Titus is going to bite your dick and gain its knowledge.
So he bangs on it with the toilet brush a few times and flees the bathroom. And as he passes by Jade, he says, "Lady, you should look at your toilet, because you got mushrooms in there." What was that one-liner?
It's just a fact.
Just stating facts, lady.
Meanwhile, on the roof, a mushroom bites through the power line that just kind of dissolves in midair, unaffected by gravity.
And, like, blasts blood everywhere.
And inside, the power goes out. And this is illustrated by them just turning off the movie.
Yeah.
And there's this terrible little shticky moment where Jade's bumbling around in the dark to try to find the generator to turn on, in which when she turns it on, they just turn the movie back on exactly where they cut it when the lights went out.
Yeah, and
everyone's standing in the exact same spots.
Once again, none of this needs to happen. The lights came back on.
And there's nothing.
Nothing happened.
Nope.
We also just all of this stuff is like all the exterior stuff we just talked about was like day for night shots, but like the worst day for night shots I've ever seen. Where I like forgot that it was supposed to be nighttime.
Mm-hmm. Also, I know all these scenes that we're talking about. Believe it or not, we're rapid firing through these things.
This movie is fucking dense.
Yeah. We're cruising, folks. Like. We're sparing you spelling out these scenes in too much detail.
Yeah.
So Titus then picks up the machete and says that he's going to take charge of this situation. He's going to take out as many of those bastards as he can, even if he has to go down with them. He goes outside and starts slicing the mushrooms off the house that are all CGI now, because why not?
Yeah.
He's just kind of scraping the machete down the side of the house, and the mushrooms go, bee, bee, and they go, like, flying off the house.
They're, like, floating, like they have no weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them go flying, some of them go in slow motion.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
He's slicing CGI and puppet mushrooms alike. Some of them die by falling over. Some CGI ones, they split in half. Some of them dissolve away. He eventually gets overwhelmed by them and retreats. Back to that fantastic-looking night sky. Back inside the house, Wang has a knife to Silas's neck, trying to get him to explain what's going on. And Silas is slowly wriggling out of the ropes that are... His hands are tied in front of him. Like, Wang can't see this happening. Then everybody starts swapping mushroom war stories. Like when Titus choked on a mushroom when he was on his tour in Japan, and how Wang's platoon mates used to put mushrooms in his boots to scare him, and that one time Jade went to a restaurant that didn't serve mushrooms, or how Jackson tried to sell a mushroom farm once, but he couldn't.
And that time he came home and he found his wife with a mushroom.
It was at this point where I was like, God damn it, John.
So Jade explains what a mushroom is for those of us not following along with this mess, and Titus suggests that we should try eating them.
Of course he would suggest that.
So they try to figure out what a mushroom's weakness is, while Silas is staring at him like a friggin' lunatic. The mushrooms are climbing all over the house, and they decide, let's wait till morning. So the next day, various mushrooms are all approaching the house.
But hold on, though. They talk about like how they have to make it through the night.
Yeah. And then they just do.
They just cut and they've made it. They never showed them board up the broken-ass window or door. There's like a big door that's...
It's a sliding glass door that gets busted open, and they never address it.
Never fix it. And every time they open the front door, they just have, like, the doors open, and it's the screen door that they're opening.
Yeah, just a screen door.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's because the CG, the door shattering was CG. The door didn't actually shatter, and they forgot that was supposed to happen. And they just saw an intact door. Yeah. So why do we have to think about this? And while these mushrooms are all surrounding the house, one big one comes out of the woods and vomits forth a CG skeleton that promptly explodes when it hits the ground.
Fellas, this is the greatest image ever committed to film.
It's just, it opens up and this rigid CGI skeleton just kind of comes out, hits the ground, and then the bones go everywhere.
Was it like Mortal Kombat 2 where there was like 3 rib cages and stuff?
I was just about to say it was like it was Mortal Kombat 2 like beta version where they're like, okay, we can't put this out. And this is what we ended up with.
So Wang wakes everybody up. Jackson demands coffee in the daily real estate section because this movie is a moron.
Yeah.
Wang takes out a bag and he pulls out a Tech 9, a 38 special, and the fucking RoboCop gun. Where was this shit yesterday?
By the way, good job on correctly identifying all of those guns.
Yeah, they're pretty standard, recognizable guns.
I didn't think anybody was going to get the Tech 9.
So...
No, dollar store versions of all of these things.
No.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah,
they're all cap gun versions, but
yeah.
Jade goes into the back room and comes out in her ass-kicking gear, as in baggy sweatpants, a camo tank top, Birkenstocks, and sunglasses.
See, now this is a scenario where like I actually have constructive criticism for this director, because he's clearly trying to. This is supposed to be a joke. This is supposed to be funny.
Imagine that. John's got an issue whenever they change a woman's wardrobe.
This is about how to construct a funny moment. Like, she disappears into her room and comes back out. Now, in the movie, it starts... she comes out and it starts on her feet, starts on the Birkenstocks, and then pans up to the camo and the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Which, like, kills the joke. She should have come out in her camo, put on her glasses, and then it pans... So you've already got that surprise, and then it pans down to the Birkenstocks.
She's got the Birkenstocks, yeah.
Boom, another surprise.
No, I agree. You start at the bottom, you go up. She takes the glasses off, and she's cross-eyed.
Oh, it's been a while since we've done that one.
Yeah.
And then she drops the line of the movie. Do it. Say it, John. You did this to us.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember either.
She says, "Let's kick some fung ass." You're responsible for this.
I could have gone my whole life without knowing that she said that.
I regret nothing.
So, Wang takes the Tech 9 and the RoboCop gun for himself.
He slides them into his cargo
pockets.
shorts pockets or whatever.
He leads them all outside. They carefully step around all the scattered portobellas on the porch.
This pissed me off right here. The audacity. Hold on. Again, the audacity of having your actors tiptoe around a bunch of motionless grocery store mushrooms that you've scattered all over the deck and given the dog growling sounds effects.
Yeah. All it was little button mushrooms that they just took out the package.
You got your characters like, oh, geez.
What pissed me off was the way she was holding her gun. Like, whenever she has her arm, okay, the hand that she's holding the pistol in, she has her arm extended all the way out, and her other hand resting underneath her elbow, like holding the whole thing up. Her elbow. And that's, like, I paused and walked away.
So, Silas is still tied up inside. He tells them that it's too late and that the mushrooms have learned all that they have learned. What? So, a mushroom is outside and it raises its arms up into the sky as the earth farts up a bunch more mushroom pals. Wang charges forward and opens fire. Here begins the greatest battle of this movie that lasts for a third of the frickin' movie.
Which we are going to gloss over.
So
it's the same thing over and over.
Yeah. Wang charges, opens fire. Titus is close behind. And he's got... Now, okay, this is the point to make. Titus has the sword.
Right.
You think it's the machete, because all we've seen throughout the whole frickin' movie is him using the machete. Exactly. But he's got the sword now. So he comes up and he's just exploding mushrooms with this sword with single swings.
Fucking those dudes up.
Jade comes out with the 38. Wang's blasting away at the mushrooms as they explode.
Why is she not using the hatchet that she had earlier? I feel like that was a missed opportunity right there.
This whole movie's a missed opportunity. So, Wang's shooting the mushrooms. He then fires a shot at the camera, and we're quote-unquote treated to a bullet time scene as the bullet whizzes by us and explodes into a mushroom in slow motion.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
That was off the chain. And then the bullet hits the mushroom, and a wound sprouts in a completely different part of the mushroom.
I'm wondering how many bullets are in this goddamn gun. It finally does run out, and a mushroom swats it away. He goes for the knife tucked in his belt loops in increasing levels of slow motion and narrower widescreen.
Oh, God. Just pull out the knife.
He then stabs the mushroom to death as another approaches. The mushroom sticks its arm out and goddamn Jedi's over a branch to fight with.
This mushroom has the Force, dude. It's like, what?
So, Wang and the mushroom engage in this epic stick fighting scene.
I was kind of, whenever he pulled that stick over there like that, I was kind of half expecting like a Gandalf and Saruman fight with like their two wizard wands.
Just throwing each other around.
Yeah. Sadly, that did not happen.
Yeah. Jackson finally joins the fray and comes out whacking the smaller mushrooms with a branch. Titus is murdering mushrooms left and right. Some melt, some explode, some flash in light. Jade is shooting her 38, and the muzzle flash on the 38 looks like TIE fighters exploding.
Yeah.
She
also,
kills off...
Who knew that revolver could hold like 37 rounds in it?
Oh, no. It's got another magical power, though. Because once it runs out of bullets, she's grappled from behind by a mushroom, struggles her way free, and the gun is magically reloaded.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Wang, still doing battle with the mushroom, finally finishes it off. Another mushroom disarms Titus of his plastic sword, so he also grabs a branch and starts stick fighting the mushroom.
Why are there so many sticks of approximately the same length and thickness littering this yard?
There's more unnecessary transitions as he finishes off the mushroom. Jackson manages to kill a few before being sprayed down with mushroom goop.
He just gets jizzed on, like...
Inside, Silas, tied to the chair, is being surrounded by mushrooms. Titus smashes a mushroom on the cap with his stick so hard that they show it to us 3 or 4 times. And I think it was an accident. He didn't actually mean to hit this person in the mushroom costume, and they thought it was hilarious, so they put it in and they showed it over and over. Because he whacks the shit out of this guy. A mushroom then goops up Titus's hand, and he drops the stick. Jade karate kicks a mushroom in the ass, and it goes down.
She does it 16 times.
Another triple.
Yeah, everything that I'm saying, whenever I say somebody kills a mushroom in some way, they show it like 8 times.
Yeah.
She rabbit punches it to death. Where was I? Hang on.
Yeah, believe it or not, y'all are getting the Cliff's Notes.
Yeah. A mushroom starts... and another mushroom starts shitting out little mushrooms while it's going...
That's the exact sound effect.
Yes, that is not an exaggeration.
And tiny little mushrooms are like going... pew, 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 out of it.
And then when they show the actor, like not the CG part,
they're just throwing
little button mushrooms at him.
So, Titus gets knocked down from that. Wang's finishing off some more mushrooms with his stick. More sprouting up all over as Wang dramatically draws the RoboCop gun. And he annihilates these mushrooms with it because it shoots 1,000 bullets a second.
Yeah.
He tosses the... Okay, the RoboCop gun is a badass gun, but it wasn't that.
No.
Good God.
The amount of rounds that guy shot out of that pistol, he'd need a backpack full of ammunition. Just belt-fed into this pistol.
So he tosses the gun to Titus, and he opens fire. The gun now shoots at a different rate with a different sound effect.
Yes.
I think it's the actual sound effect that toy gun makes.
So, about 100 more mushrooms fart up from the ground. And at this point, I was like, okay, I understand why this movie is like 100 minutes long now. Yeah. So, Jade chokes out a mushroom in a very awkward fashion.
How do you choke a mushroom? Does it breathe air?
How does a mushroom choke a hooker?
With its arms, Chase.
After it puts its car in park. Jesus.
Before he pays her.
Oh my god.
After he very consciously puts on the emergency brake because he's on an incline. So
it's the only way he can finish is if he chokes her.
Okay.
I think I just broke myself.
So Titus then Max Payne leaps onto a conveniently placed foam pad while firing the RoboCop gun. Mushrooms
is this
still...
the part where the gun puts holes in reality?
Yes. That's exactly what it is.
Like one of the CG mushrooms starts getting holes put in it, and you can but without any consideration of the thickness of the mushroom. It's just like a circle that you can see whatever's behind it through.
So the mushrooms are continuing to shit out little mushrooms that Wang is now lightsaber deflecting with his stick as they explode in little shockwaves. We get a little nod to zombie croc cam from inside a mushroom's mouth as it approaches Titus, who's clicking his empty gun at it over and over and over and over and over and over. Titus, I think it's empty.
It's empty, you fat fuck.
I think you should have realized this on the 4th or 5th click, let alone the 10th. It's also not even an empty gun clicking sound. It's a shotgun racking noise.
Oh, God, I know.
So Wang gives up and just starts throwing the mushrooms around. He's just like suplexing them around. Jackson.
These are all CG mushrooms too. So like, I want to see
he's pantomiming.
I want to see the footage before they put him in there. This idiot just like flailing around in the backyard.
Jackson gets bit on the stomach and falls to the ground. A little mushroom bites his finger off, followed by a big stick-wielding one whacking his whole hand off.
Yeah.
And he screams in the exact same way as the camper from earlier, which at this point I was scratching my chin going, wait a second. I think these are all the same people. The mushroom then busts him in the head with the stick, which turns him into the same goddamn dummy used twice already.
Yeah.
But fear not, folks, because they bashed it in the head, it's broken forever and they can't use it again.
They still show it.
They show the inside of the broken head.
Yeah, you can see the paper on the inside of it.
This was it's cool. Don't bother, stuffing your dummy's clothes or anything either. Like, just an empty shirt on the ground. That's what a person looks like, right?
It was like a Jedi Master died but forgot about the head.
Oh, God. So, Wang strangles a mushroom to death, while Jade gets little one shit all over her. Titus gets bit on the knee. Holy hell. How long is this goddamn motherfucking piece of shit movie? Jesus. Eventually, the trio retreat into the woods because the mushrooms just refuse to stop growing. They run to the road and find a car. They hijack the mushroom that was driving the car.
I was like, whose car is this? This is the mushroom murderer's hooker murderer mushroom's car?
It's gotta be the same mushroom.
Because Wang reaches in the driver's seat and he pulls a mushroom out and throws it across the screen. So they all get in, and Jade conveniently finds a bottle of balsamic vinegar in the car. She throws it out the window, and it erupts into flames.
Oh my God, this movie.
And engulfs the mushroom horde.
This right here is the point where it's popping off. Like, you thought it was fucking crazy before. Now they've got explosive jars of balsamic vinegar.
Wang then puts two and two together that mushrooms have an aversion to balsamic vinegar. And Jade says that she's got a barrel of it in her basement because it's one of her hobbies. So they head back to the cabin, the one that they just ran away from.
Yeah.
Running over several mushrooms on the way. Okay. Titus tells Wang and Jade to get the vinegar while he holds them off. Here we go, folks.
There it is.
He drops the gun and takes out his little bottle of pills. Now, up to now, I've been calling them explosion pills as a bit of a gag. But you actually get to see the bottle now. And on it, there's a little label with a picture of an explosion with a goddamn Ghostbusters cross through it. And I'm like, I have no words for what I'm seeing now. He's got a goddamn anti-explosion pills.
Surely he's not going to blow up.
Yeah. He drops the pills to the ground as Jade and Wang look back, and Titus doubles over, lets out a scream, raises himself up, and explodes.
God damn.
With no reaction from Wang and the chick.
Nope. He just goes, ah! And starting from his stomach, an explosion erupts out and engulfs the entire front yard.
You just saw a real life fucking blue team X-Man. And like you have no reaction.
The scream they used sounded like the Japanese version of Goku's like Kamehameha. Yeah. It's like high pitched.
Oh Christ. So
dude, the gravitas. This was done masterfully, in my opinion. Every little clue up till now, the reveal of the bottle. Oh my god, this whole thing.
Well, okay, and now John has it from the viewpoint of he wasn't expecting this to actually happen.
Yeah.
I'm coming from the viewpoint where I was expecting this to happen the whole time. And when I saw the little bottle of no explosion pills, I was so insulted that I was right.
Yeah.
Well,
I was disappointed.
So I'm okay. Yeah. Again, I thought his initial statement of his condition being spontaneous combustion was a joke. So even in my notes, I'm like, is this motherfucker about to become the Incredible Hulk?
Yeah.
And then, in all caps, I forgot his condition was spontaneous combustion.
Oh, God. So, he explodes, and Jade turns to Wang and says, well, I guess the vinegar's our only hope now. So, without batting an eye, they head inside. Silas is nowhere to be seen. He's escaped the chair. Jade opens a hatch on the floor to the basement, and Wang produces a fuse that they rig to a barrel that's just sitting right there, and they light it. Because, of course, all you need is a fuse going into balsamic vinegar, and you've got, like, a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, because in the real world, a fuse... Oh, God, never mind. I'm fucking stupid.
Yeah, I went a little too deep on this stuff too, because I was like, okay, is there any like reason to believe that vinegar would be harmful to mushrooms?
No.
It is actually a natural.
Really?
Yeah, it's a natural fungicide. It's the acetic acid, or is that how you pronounce it? Anyway, the acid that vinegar is made out of is like will kill a mushroom. But, of course,
it's pronounced who gives a shit.
Well, there's a feather in your cap, the Miscavige family.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it's not flammable.
Well, no.
It's not combustible.
You're not having flammable salads, at the Olive Garden.
So they light the fuse. They run out of the house past the mushrooms. The fuse burns down, and the house explodes in NES Super Mario fireworks.
Yeah, the explosion begins at the roof.
Yeah, at the gutters of the house. And then once the whole house blows up, you get a big Death Star double shockwave that cuts out.
And the CG mountain. See the CG mountain again with a giant explosion on it.
Yeah, apparently this house is on the peak of this mountain. So this purple shockwave cuts through the woods, destroying only the mushrooms. Because, it's a balsamic shockwave.
Yeah.
We get that shot of the Arathi Highlands again with the shockwave going across it.
Lord.
Wang helps Jade up, and they walk out of the woods. Go to black. 1 year later. All right, we're going to wrap this shit up. And then I look down at my little scroller, and it says I got 20 fucking minutes of this movie left.
But that's really not how much left of the movie you had.
Yeah. So, cut to a sign that says Food Mart / bookstore. And then the camera wheels around, and to my surprise, it's the same fucking bookstore from Field Freak. Yep. It just says bookstore. And inside, Wang and Jade are doing a book signing. What the fuck is happening? So they're doing a book signing of their book, Fungicide, and Jade feels bad because...
Which was just a white piece of paper over an Encyclopedia Britannica.
And I'm seeing all this and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's yet another movie where the whole movie was bullshit and it was just them writing the book.
Oh, I'm glad you agree with me.
So Jade says she feels bad because the book doesn't do their ordeal justice. But Wang says, it's better than the pension that he gets, so what the hell?
There's no way this dude is old enough to receive a pension. Unless military pensions work completely different from any other pension.
They kind of do, but he's still a little young.
Okay.
So while they're signing the book of some random patron, also played by the director, a lab coat wearing, a frog button shirt wearing person comes walking in, and it's Silas. And he's being backlit by the goddamn bat signal or something because he is blasted with light in this scene. He holds out an apple and says, "An apple a day will keep everyone away," and starts laughing like an overacting idiot while he twists the apple around. And Jade and Wang look at him with the same expression on their faces that I had at this moment. Just utter disbelief.
Yeah.
Then we get a slideshow recap of Silas being surrounded by mushrooms, a shot of the empty chair with the ropes on the ground next to the machete, and Silas laughs as his face is superimposed over the Arathi Highlands again one last time. And then the movie just kind of ends.
This part was absolutely like David Lynchian. He's like, his like laugh slows down and it's like super creepy. It's like something out of Twin Peaks right here.
So the movie ends. Or does it? Because it's time for a blooper reel.
We're not going through all this, are we?
They do the blooper reel, and it's just them laughing.
I can't.
There's the reveal of Tony Titus Ignitus. That's when I realized that the person who played Jackson also played Roger, the camper, Bruce, the jogger, the book signing person. It says that no mushrooms were hard in the making of this motion picture. And then the last line in the credits is, "See ya?" ? And then I'm like, okay, it's over now. Nope.
No, it's
time
not.
for deleted scenes. So we do deleted scenes and where Jade and Titus have a sparring match and she kicks his ass because why the hell not?
She was a boxer and wrestler in college.
Yeah.
So that ends. Thank God it's over. Nope. It's time for the Fungicide music video.
Well, they also finally like wrap up where she says that she gets visions sometimes. Yeah. Where like that was that whole thing was completely abandoned in the final cut of the movie.
Yeah. So you sit through the Fungicide music video. Okay, it's over now, right? It's gotta be over. Nope. Time for a slideshow recap of the entire fucking movie. Beginning to end.
We should have just watched that.
Alright, it's gotta be over now, right? Nope. Let's watch the trailer one more time. Son of a bitch. It's the movie that won't die.
Yeah.
But then it is actually over. Oh. I'm defeated.
You better have something good for this week, Chase.
Oh, I've got things. Are we doing the questions first, though?
Oh,
you gotta do the bonus questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a couple for you, I guess. You guys ready?
Yeah.
What was the name of the shopping center that the bookstore was in?
Shit, I think Chase even said it.
No, I said that it was a food mart / bookstore.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
We all watched through to the very bitter end, right?
I did.
I sorta did, but hey, if the question's in there, that's my own damn fault.
It's supposed to be hard, so.
Yeah. On the design for Wang's shirt, there are 3 words in the circle on the outside.
I tried to make these out, and I couldn't make out what the fuck these things said.
Just any one of them.
All right.
So
okay.
The the shopping center was called Super Shopping. Oh,
I thought it was called Shopping Center.
I put Green Garden anyways.
Super Shopping. So the sign, the permanent sign for on the side of the road says Super Shopping, Food Mart, Bookstore, signing today.
Yeah.
Permanently, it says
There's
signing
always
today.
a signing today.
And did anybody get any of those words around the design there?
I said survive.
I said fight.
They were nitwit, dimwit, and outstay.
What?
God damn it.
I don't even know what outstay.
Oh, it's a play on Survivor.
Yeah.
Oh, outstay. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
God. Well, no bonus points this week.
No.
But whatever. That's fine. Okay. So, time for Coming Attractions, where I get to put up a movie for this week. My first movie pick of the season. Now let's see. I've got 3 here that I could pick from. And I've got one that is one that I know we're all going to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one that's going to be bad, but it might be funny. And I got one that is kind of bait for Blake.
Okay.
And I'm wondering which one I should use.
Yeah, that's so tough, man. I feel like he wouldn't take it out. I feel like he's not going to
do it first one out of the gate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you never know.
Yeah, it is me after all.
He's an absolute wild card.
Yep.
Well,
Chaotic
I feel
evil.
I feel like we deserve... no, I don't. I'm going with this one. Okay. So, my movie pick for the week is a little movie from 1989. Starring the one and only Stallone. Frank Stallone. It's called Terror in Beverly Hills. It's got a 3.4 on IMDb, a 3 on Amazon, and a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. Tagline: they brought terrorism to our streets. Only one man could stop them. Directed by John Myers.
But instead we have his brother.
Directed by John Myers, who is an actor on Fantasy Island, History of the World Part 1, and Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color. And then he directed Frank Stallone in this. Starring Frank Stallone, obviously. Synopsis: The president's daughter is held for ransom by Middle Eastern terrorist. Retired Special Forces agent and karate master Hack Stone is sent on a
Jesus Christ!
Is sent on a risky operation to get her back. 1 hour and 28 minutes. Reviews: Cobra without the budget.
Oh.
John Myers, the hackiest hack who ever hacked. And when your brother is Sly Stallone, how do you end up in crap like this? So there's not really, I couldn't find any trivia or anything really interesting on this. It does have that curve of ratings that we like to see, where there's some really high ratings for how bad it is, and there's some really low ones for how bad it is.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be good, but it's also going to be, it should be funny.
Well, too bad we're never going to watch it.
Hmm?
Nah, I'm playing. We're watching it.
That was the bait one.
Of course it was.
I like the comparison to Cobra.
Yeah.
Got me pretty excited.
Yeah. It seems like it's going to be that kind of one-man army rogue cop thing.
Because fucking Cobra would make, if we hadn't seen that already, that would make a great episode.
I've actually never seen it.
Oh, there's a random montage with robots out of nowhere.
Robot montage. He cuts pizza with scissors for some reason. That movie's crazy.
Yeah. I recently built a playlist for my car that's all 80s movie montages. And it's awesome to listen to in the morning.
Yeah. I can't remember the song that plays during the robot one, but
I'm gonna have to find it and add it on there.
Yeah. Well, it all cuts between, was it Bridget Nielsen?
Yeah.
And the doing modeling, and then the robots for some reason.
She's modeling with robots, but it goes from Stallone, like he's on like the top floor of a parking garage, and he's like having a meeting with somebody, and he's driving away, and then it just cuts to robots.
Okay.
And it's the most jarring thing in the world.
I have to check that out.
Yeah. But enough about Cobra, because we're going to watch Terror in Beverly Hills instead. So that's going to be that. That's the movie.
Okay.
That we're actually going to watch. Oh, man, this was one. This was an episode.
I'm over it.
I fully recommend people watching this.
I don't know. I know some people that also watched it, and they don't share your excitement about it.
This isn't winning any Desert Heat Award. I'll tell you that right now.
No. We've got a strong contender for worst of the worst 2 movies into the season.
I don't know. For
me, that second episode, man.
Second episode is always a train wreck.
I feel like this is like one of those hidden gems of like so bad it's good.
That mushroom was driving a car.
Yes, it was, sir. This and Titus. It's worth watching for Titus's whole thing.
When Titus ignitises?
Yes.
Once again, this movie could have been 20 minutes long. And it would have been fine.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it. Maybe this thing does win an award. And I'll call it the No Man's Sky Award. Because if this movie was 20 minutes long, it'd have been decent. Just like if No Man's Sky would have cost $20, it would have been decent. But nope, they went for the full thing.
And they sure did. You gotta admire the gumption. They put this thing together.
Do you have to admire the gumption or be, maddened by by audacity? Which is it, John?
I don't have to admire shit about this movie. This movie
just
sucked.
I don't know. The mindset that like we're gonna make this fucking killer mushroom thing happen.
See, now I want to hunt down this new Sasquatch movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got a Sasquatch movie.
Yeah, too. Suburban Sasquatch is supposed to be tight.
Yeah, I might hunt that down.
Oh well. on that note, I'd like to thank everybody that's been listening. If you want to subscribe to us on iTunes, you could do that. We'd very much appreciate it if you left us a review. Let us know how we're doing. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Garbage Theater. You can also find us on Twitter at @garbage_theater and on Instagram at @garbage_theater. If you'd like to suggest a movie to us, we're open to suggestion. You can contact us on any of those social channels, or you can email us directly at garbagetheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Any last words from anybody about any of what just happened to us?
No.
I just wanted another plea for like, if you like the show, let us know. Yeah. You know, we want to hear from you.
We know you're out there. I see you on the stats. You're listening to us. You can talk to us. It's fine.
Unless your name's Titus.
In which case, you're a goddamn hero, sir.
Unless you're some broccoli eating bitch.
Yeah. What other demographics have we run away in previous episodes?
Yeah.
The goth kids and the
goth
Italians.
kids, the Italians,
all the ladies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, if you're not one of those, I mean, we appreciate it if you are one of those and stuck around, but I don't think that happened.
Yeah, it's all fun and games, folks. You know, we you know that. Except for John's opinions.
All right.
All right. So, again, the movie for next time will be Terror in Beverly Hills. You can find it on Amazon Prime. We'll see you next time, folks.